Hey there, you are listening to a special episode of 10 Films I Hate About You. We've taken a little hiatus, but we are back for Christmas, giving you an analysis of films that you will just love.
Oh, that's pushing it.
I feel like you used a lot of words very loosely.
Special
Analysis.
love.
So I'm here, as you can hear, with the Inconceivable Reviews team. There is Kevin,
Hello.
Chanelle,
Hey.
and Charnstar.
That is I.
And today it's Christmas. And what do we usually do on Christmas? This is our Christmas tradition now. I mean,
God. Help!
it's the second time we've done this. We are looking at two films that address Christmas and also royalty because...
Nothing says Christmas like incest.
I mean, what can you think
Wow. You just rolled with that.
of? Should I press stop? Do we
No,
start
no,
again?
you keep
We
going.
keep
No.
going, we keep
No,
going.
This is
roll
good
with
content.
incest.
Yeah.
I was going to say what
Speaking
pairs
facts
better, you know, cheese and wine or Christmas and royalty. I wasn't actually going to bring up incest, but you know, it's there now, it's out there.
It's pretty important in one of these films, so...
Oh God. I
So
forgot about that.
what are the films? The films are Christmas with a Prince and A Princess for Christmas.
Oh, see, the key is saying it very slowly, so you don't screw it up.
Last year we did A Christmas Prince and A Christmas Princess, and it was a lot easier to remember.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what are these films about? We're about to tell you. If you haven't seen Christmas with a Prince, you'll find it on Netflix. A splendid film. Go watch it. We are about to spoil it. And if you haven't seen A Princess for Christmas, you can pick up your very own copy from CEX for $4 dues. What a bargain.
Oh,
I know
worth
I
it.
did.
Ugh.
I know I did. Yeah. What are you waiting for? Go do it, because we are about to spoil this thing.
I like that there might be, limited copies at CEX. And this podcast might just push it to the limit. CEX is going to be like, oh no, we're running out of copies of A Princess for Christmas.
I'm going to leave all these pauses in the edit. Just so that
These
people
pauses
know.
are important. People need to know how difficult it is to delineate one title from the other.
I'm really hoping that there's such a storm on CEX that the price goes up. You know, we're going to force A Princess for Christmas to be $12 again.
I'm hoping that's the copy.
This is literally the DVD being delivered during the podcast.
We haven't even started talking about the movies yet, and it's already blessed us with its presence.
What? We could not have timed that better. It's like the mailman is in
cameo
cahoots.
from Australia's Santa Claus.
Anyway, watch this film. Our copy just arrived. We're about to go watch it again.
What a Christmas miracle.
We're back, and we hope you enjoyed both of those films, A Princess for Christmas and Christmas with a Prince. Look, I said it really fast
you
and
said
without
it
a
so
pause.
fast. Wow.
Yeah, you can't think about it because you start thinking about it, you go, oh no.
Don't ask me which is which.
Well, before you get started, A Princess for Christmas. There's been 2 titles for it.
Yeah.
No, actually 3.
Oh.
3, including A Princess for Christmas. The first one was Christmas at Castlebury Hall,
Okay.
and then the second one is A Princess for Castlebury.
What?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so that's the titles of A Princess for Christmas.
I see.
I feel like A Princess for Castlebury, of the 3, makes the least sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's a different title for the UK.
So 4 titles.
A Christmas Princess. sometimes dreams come true. Just like our dreams just came true just before.
With the mailman. Thank you, Australia Post. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed them. We are about to spoil them. In fact, I'm about to spoil them right now. I think everyone will agree with me. I'm going to summarize the plot, I think, of both of these in 2 sentences. Okay?
Guess which one's which.
2 sentences. Monarch has 2 sons.
Oh,
The
yeah.
eldest son dies.
Uh-huh.
The youngest son is like, Yahoo, I'm the youngest son. Oh no, now I have responsibility. I'm gonna get married to a random peasant girl who I happen upon.
I wouldn't say peasant with the...
No, but there's an emphasis on a lack of title in both of these films.
I mean, one of them has the title Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, well, that's true.
But, as we know, that's not
Lower
good
class,
for
I guess.
anyone.
Yeah. She's only a children's doctor.
Yeah. Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't know why both films required a dead older brother.
It's a royal family. That's what happens. Older brothers just die.
Why couldn't it have just been the older brother falling in love in the first place?
Nah, they wouldn't do that. Older brothers don't fall in love. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened in Christmas.
No.
Princess for Christmas.
Yeah,
Damn
he's
it.
got it.
I was the first one to screw it up as well.
We should have made this a drinking game every time you screw it up.
He won't finish.
That's called exponential growth.
Yeah.
We would get exponentially drunk.
And no one would understand our amazing points. So basically, last year we argued, Netflix or Stan, which one are we throwing in the bin? This year, Christmas with a Prince is on a streaming service, whilst A Princess for Christmas is on DVD. We're arguing in favour of streaming services or DVDs. That is the broader argument, but really, we're just going to talk about which of these films we should keep and which we should throw in the trash. Or donate back to CEX.
Should we call the post guy back?
Let's get him to listen and, you know.
Yeah, he'll be the final judge.
I wonder how much money we will lose if we have to take this DVD back to CEX.
$3.50 probably.
Probably more. I'm going to go first today, and I'm going to argue that without a doubt, and I'm sure everyone guessed this, A Princess for Christmas is definitely better than Christmas with a Prince. Okay?
Wait, let me just check which one's which.
Yeah,
again.
I have to look at
Me
my
too.
notes, be like, which
Oh!
one's which?
I forgot a really, really important part of both of these films. But in both films, the king or the duke is played by like
Big name?
a big name. It's like
Big name is kind of
Yeah,
pushing
just
it.
pushing it.
well, in A Princess for Christmas, we have Roger Moore, James Bond. Come on, people.
I mean, the worst James Bond, but sure.
James Bond nonetheless.
and then in
Uh-oh.
oh no, it's
Yes,
happened.
it wasn't just me.
Christmas with a Prince.
Christmas with a Prince. It is Charles Shaughnessy. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe it's Mr. Sheffield.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit more high pitch. There we go.
That's why Kevin is here, to make the nanny noise.
Close enough.
Okay. All right. That's my last comment on the plot. But anyway, moving on to why A Princess for Christmas is definitely better than Christmas with a Prince. My first point, and the most important point, and I'm going to start the timer because I have to talk for less than 10 minutes, and let's hope I can do it. I have so
feel
many
like
points.
we can both do it. I feel like we're all fine with that.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Number one reason why is the prince in A Princess for Christmas is far more intelligent than the prince in Christmas with a Prince. Despite the fact that Christmas with a Prince is made in part by Brain Power Studios, by the way.
Wait, so you're saying Sam Heughan
I'm
is
saying
smarter than
Prince Ashton versus Prince Alexander. Prince Ashton is smarter, and therefore his film is better. So Sam Heughan.
Okay,
Sam
yeah.
Heughan.
Yeah, you saying the character names are not helping us.
But I don't know what the other actor's name is. It's like Sam Heughan versus that
The
guy.
other guy, yeah. If you said the other guy, we would all know who you're talking about.
Nick
'cause only-
Hounslow.
Okay.
Come
Oh
on
yeah,
now.
good old
Sam
good old
versus
Hounslow.
Nick. Prince Sam versus Prince Nick. Prince Sam, much more intelligent. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the whole reason why Prince Alexander ends up in the hospital in the first place is because of this one line of dialogue where he says, I guess that unmarked trail was roped off for a reason. I don't know. Was it? First of all, it was unmarked. Second of all, it was roped. Oh, he's an idiot.
So at least his Instagram followers know.
Second of all, when Prince Alexander gets injured, he wants to go undercover. This is the actual wording that is used. Now let's look at some other films in my DVD collection. When Dolores from Sister Act, she's a lounge singer. When she goes undercover, she goes to a convent. You know, that's not a place where you'd look for a lounge singer. She goes undercover as a nun. When Connie and Carla, who are singers, female singers, go undercover, they go undercover as drag queens. So they go undercover as men dressing up as women. You know, that's different. He goes undercover as an adult in a children's ward. Like, what was his plan here? Like, how was that supposed to hide him better?
See,
like,
the way you just said it, though, is a far more interesting movie.
Yeah.
A prince pretending to be a child to be undercover in a children's hospital. Oh, rewrite the movie.
Honestly, the logic behind it, I just don't understand. There was all this malarkey about going undercover, and I was like, this isn't even a good cover. Next, Prince Alexander claims he would do anything to go unnoticed, but when he gets injured, he live streams it. Like, honestly, what is going on with this guy? So this is less about why I like Sam Heughan and more about why I don't like this Nick character. He allows himself, Prince Alexander allows himself to be hospitalized for weeks for a broken ankle. What?
Is this his knee or...
It's his ankle. He breaks his ankle and he allows himself to be
The
hospitalized
cast
for
specifically
weeks.
is under the knee.
Yeah.
You can tell because the pants are tucked in.
Uh-huh.
See?
Which is maybe why he had to be in there so long, because his pants were stuck. And he was like, "No."
That was the real injury.
So, yes. Point number one is Prince Ashton, much more intelligent than Prince Alexander, which is why you're going to keep
Go on.
a princess for Christmas. Secondly, star power. I am sorry to Mr. Sheffield, but Roger Moore is cooler. Even if he is the worst Bond, I would rate Mr. Bond higher than Mr. Sheffield on the coolness radar.
Yeah, he
No?
did look like he
No?
was dying.
Did he? Oh, right, yeah, that was a whole thing. Third reason why A Princess for Christmas is better. Because it has a character called Paisley Winterbottom. I mean, come on. And he's allergic to French words. Did anyone else notice this? Instead of valet, he said valet. And instead of marquis, he said marquis. What kind of butler is unable to pronounce the word valet? I'm very confused.
One who's surrounded by Romanians for some reason?
Yeah.
Possibly, quite possibly. It is pronounced valet, right?
Yeah.
It's not a valet.
I've worked as a valet, so I'm hoping I was pronouncing it right. It was my job for 2 years.
Yeah, and none of us has ever been a marquis, right? So we wouldn't know.
Valet
fourth-
live or valet die.
My fourth reason it has to be the accents. The accents are so fabulously random. My favorite has to be the housekeeper who seems to speak in staccato squares. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. I'm gonna try and do an impression, but I don't think I can. It's like, you can't put a Christmas tree in here!
Frankly, that was too British for her.
Yeah, it was just off the charts.
Yeah, you're giving her too much credit.
There's even a pair of siblings with different accents.
That was my favorite part. That was personally my... Because, like, they were like, and this is my sister. And she's like, hello, I'm your mother.
Maybe they were sent to two different schools
Yeah, they're royalty. They
Yeah.
can do that.
It was just
to prevent
so
the incest.
unnecessary. He could have just been a good friend. Why did he have to? I don't know. Next reason, Sam Heughan. He's a man of the people. He's a prince. But you know what? This guy, he wears a clip-on bow tie. Which, you know, major brownie points from me. He's not fancy. He doesn't know how to properly tie a bow tie. He just clips one on and off he goes to a ball.
A time saver.
Final reason, before I talk about my reason in opposition, which I have to bring up. I really shouldn't argue against myself, but I can't not do it. I believe that this film, even though it was made in 2011, was trying to communicate with us at Inconceivable Reviews. First of all, there is a line of dialogue where she uses the word inconceivable, and I was like, yes, princess, I hear you, I understand. And the second thing is they cast Roddy from Pop Academy as Milo, the son.
That is true.
The nephew.
The criminal.
Yes.
The kleptomaniac.
Yeah. And the thug that plays hockey.
Yeah.
Yes, all of these things, but also Roddy from Pop Academy. Which you can hear more about on One Season I Heard About You. Yes, I just plugged myself. Okay, but I do have to bring something up before I pass over to Kevin. We brought this up last year. A Christmas Prince. Remember the whole thing with the ball and how they introduce her? Everyone else is entering through the door, but then she enters from inside the castle?
Yep.
It happened again. It happened again. She entered from inside the castle, and this time it was even worse because she got ready in a limo. So you know that she was outside the castle.
Maybe the ball was underground.
Oh,
They parked upstairs.
I was like, you got me, I'm in, I'm going to argue for you. And then that happened, and I was like, I can't.
The fact that you've brought this up, because I had my suspicions from the random archery scene, which is also shared with A Christmas Prince. And as that scene happened, I quickly did a Google. Did you happen to check where they shot this film? It is the exact same castle as A Christmas Prince. That stairway shot is the exact same place.
They're just tearing me apart, Lisa. I don't understand it. Why?
Look, when you've got a stairway like that, you've got to have someone be revealed from there. Of course, this time, everyone was literally like, who the hell's that? I can't believe she'd dressed that way.
I just want to know how they got her upstairs. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's going to be a big reveal. Put some blankets on her. Walk her upstairs.
She walks past the announcer, Paisley Winter. Lucky she didn't have a French name. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to announce her properly. Up the stairs. Takes off the blanket.
Big
And
reveal.
announcing.
I feel like we've all seen 28 Dresses, a classic, but have any of you guys actually gotten changed in the back of a... Because it wasn't a limo, it was a valet car, it was like an old-timey car. Have any of you gotten changed in the back of a car before?
Yes.
It's a tight space, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have to wear a seatbelt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in this country that we don't exactly know what it is, maybe they don't have road rules.
They did mention the country, I believe, but I don't remember it. No, because this one was interesting because they were mentioning real places. So
Geneva.
No, that was where he would. That's where he'd been. Yeah. Oh well, it will come back to us later. But yeah,
All I know is that the castle is definitely in Romania.
there you go.
Yeah.
So.
But it's not Romania because they seem to be part of the British.
Look, if we ever want to record in a castle,
Yeah.
Romania, here we come.
Well, look, that is it for my points. I'm voting for a Christmas. Oh my word! I'm voting for A Princess for Christmas. That's the one we're gonna keep. I've just spent $4 on this thing. Kev, over to you.
Look, I'm gonna go a different route here. Let's just get rid of Christmas altogether. Like, ever since we started this tradition of watching royal Christmas movies, I've forgotten what Christmas is really about, you know?
Oh my god.
I'm not a king. I'm not a prince. You know, like, you have movies like Home Alone and, you know, Jingle All the Way. It's not really about love. It's about survival.
But I think, Kevin, the whole point of these movies is to give you hope that someday,
But the thing is,
maybe on
surviving Christmas gives you hope. Kevin survived by himself with two criminals breaking into his house.
So you would rather that than the hope that maybe one day you could become a princess too?
Ever since I saw Home Alone, I was like, I think I can survive by being home alone during Christmas.
Kevin, have you considered that Kevin, you just survived 2
Oh God!
terrible Christmas
Oh
movies?
no! Oh! That's the meaning of Christmas for me now. I should just move on.
Yeah, because I have some bad news for you, actually. Charnstar sent me an article the other day that lists 10 more of these royalty at Christmas.
Goodness me.
We have content for years.
Look, Christmas is for everyone, not just for rich, incestuous people. You know what I mean? Like, the guy kicks kids out of their wards so that he can mend his broken ankle from skiing.
You're talking about Prince Alexander, of course, and not Prince Ashton.
Yes. I don't know. It made Christmas even cornier for me. You know, like, I relate to the Grinch. I relate to Arnold from Jingle All the Way. That's a great movie, by the way. Like, you know, it's about, you know, getting your Christmas presents on time, action figures. That's what Christmas is about for me. Is buying toys and fighting for it.
I see.
What do these movies fight for?
Generally
yes.
not letting commoners
Yeah.
marry royal people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know,
And the children.
and plugging random Spotify artists that sing Christmas songs. I forgot her name.
Genevieve Fisher, my favourite singer. How could you forget her name?
And, like, you know, the mom can't even try. What movie is this again? A Christmas Prince. A Christmas with a Prince. I don't even know. So, obviously, the prince is in a children's hospital
Yes.
with kids who are that have very dark humors. Like, the kid's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep getting sick so I can stay with you, says, you know, this girl to this doctor,
Yeah, I
so they can
believe
spend time together.
all it's the oncology ward, isn't it?
I don't even know.
I believe they all have cancer because they're all getting, like, chemotherapy treatment. But yes.
This movie just got 10 times more fun.
So I forgot the boy's name. Let's call him Billy. Billy was gonna have, you know, he was on his way to surgery, and mom can't make it.
It's not on his way to, like, it's next week.
Was it the date? Was it next
It's
week?
next week. And
So mom still couldn't make it. At least Kevin's mom tried to get home to save Kevin. And Kevin didn't even have cancer. He was just home alone.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yes.
This kid was gonna have surgery, and mum's like, hey, look, running a bit late, but you know what?
That was the excuse, actually.
Running a bit late, but here's a Spotify playlist. I hope you're alive by the time I get there.
But Kevin, they listened to Genevieve Fisher together
And
at
I love
11 a.m.
I love it how they assumed the kid was gonna live. It was like, hey, look, when you get out of that surgery room, I'll sing for you. Not before. Not before.
You're missing the part where the prince organised for Genevieve Fisher to actually be there so this kid divulges his Spotify playlist arrangement with his mum, and the prince organises for Genevieve Fisher to come to the hospital.
And his mum. I'm still
yeah.
intrigued as to, like, screw her for one, but also, what did the prince do to get the mum there on time? Was it a helicopter? Because it's not really real. Did he, like, oh, hey, you know what, I'll pay for your rent this week, you just come in, see your kid for a day? How did the mum get there in time with Genevieve Fisher?
I don't know.
Also, the kid stopped caring about his mum the moment Genevieve Fisher rocked up.
Well, this is the
This
thing
is the
too.
worst Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Genevieve,
ever.
the prince bought Genevieve Fisher. I'm going to keep using her full name because that line that I said before, Genevieve Fisher, my favourite singer, is an actual line from the movie that's yelled. He brings her into the room first. And then the kid's like, oh my God. And then mum comes in as like...
Oh, it's mum.
Yeah. It's like yesterday's breakfast.
And she looks really unimpressed the whole time.
Mum.
Well, I guess the kid is dying. But like, but it's like, she's like, oh no, I'm here. She didn't even look excited to see him.
I think that she was...
There's no fight left in these Christmas movies.
I think the actress was going for like, oh my God, it's my son. Like that kind of look.
Was she surprised that she had a
Maybe
son?
it's the Kuleshov effect. She was doing just a neutral mark. She was not. It's an editing theory where you have someone who's not showing any emotion, and then you edit to something, and then you edit back, and the audience interprets what they're feeling. So, like, if you show a hot soup, you go, "Oh, she's so hungry." You show a dying child who's super annoying, whose favorite singer is Genevieve Fisher. You see her, and you're like, "Ugh."
I don't know.
So you're arguing to throw out both, but especially Genevieve Fisher.
Just cancel Christmas altogether. But I don't know. These movies didn't excite me. Like, I wasn't expecting them to. But come on.
I know, but we kind of have a podcast about amazing movies.
Oh wait, no. Cut that out.
Yeah,
Like-
don't let Kevin know that. Don't give him the idea.
Like the most exciting part for me in the Sam Heughan one. God, Princess for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yay.
Milo gets punched in the face.
By an orphan.
But yeah, see, that orphan was fighting for his right to kick a soccer ball and not get yelled at by some, entitled.
24-year-old.
Was he 24?
Yeah, he's 31 now, I believe.
Oh my word.
He
That doesn't
sounded like he
surprise me.
swallowed a tank of helium. No wonder he got punched.
But he does look like a grown adult.
Yeah, he looks like a grown adult got small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he literally could have bought that video game he stole then. 17 plus. Oh, 7 years older than this. Now I'm gonna pretend that I'm young, so I'll steal it.
Hey, if you've got it,
Kleptomania.
if you've got the look, go for the role, I say.
Throw out royalty Christmas movies? Sure. Look, Christmas is expensive. Maybe we'll just forget about Christmas movies altogether.
Oh my word. You're hurting me, Kev. You're hurting me.
Yeah.
Let's move to Chanelle.
Hey, friends. Well, my argument doesn't really get better than that. Now,
Cancel holidays altogether.
now, normally, I've been on this podcast before. I'm a woman of not so very many words. But today, I feel like I have so much to say about so little. Let me begin by saying that I disliked. Wait, that doesn't fully explain how I'm feeling. I hated with the heat of 1,000 suns,
Oh,
not
God.
one, but both movies. You might say to me, Chanelle, look, it's Sam Heughan, the hunk from Outlander.
I do want to say that is what we said.
To that I will say nay. You don't get it. They were bad. Like, really bad. Now, normally, I am a rom-com fan. I mean, I love, I've said this before, I love. But these Hallmark-ish movies were not that, my friends. Alright? It was some sort of homogenized milk form of movies.
Oh, Jesus. Give it to him!
They were so similar. We get their titles mixed up. Let's begin with A Princess for Christmas. Is arguably the better of the two. I do agree with you.
Yes.
But by how much? Probably smaller than the width of a single strand of hair. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but the main character kind of reminded me of Keira Knightley.
Oh, yeah, she's a broke person's Keira Knightley.
But like an LD version of Keira Knightley.
I'm sorry to interrupt Chanelle,
Yes,
but
go for it.
Keira Knightley has a face she makes, and sometimes it irritates me. It's kind of like a duck face pout, but this woman was so much worse because on every line she delivered, no matter the context, she had a smile the size of the Joker. Like, I was actually yelling at the TV, stop smiling. And I actually preferred the other female characters, like the fiancé, to the woman playing the lead, because I was just like,
Yeah, I agree. Now, A Princess for Christmas. The chemistry between the romance interests I found were way better than the movie Christmas with a Prince. I'm getting them confused, obviously. There was actual chemistry between them, but that wasn't enough to save it. The main love interest was problematic. She essentially gave up her love for work to become a princess in the end. Now that strong, independent woman in me is hating on this.
Anti-feminist.
There was also the line that the fiancé lady, the evil one, and I quote, was all fur coat and no knickers.
oh god.
Oh.
Okay, like what does that even mean? Charnstar and I were discussing this, and I was thinking that the king was implying that she may be a lady of the night.
With a fur coat? That's pretty good.
I don't know. This movie was messed. Let's move on to the other one. Christmas.
Which one?
Prince movie, princess thing. Christmas.
Sam or Nick?
Nick. Let's
Nick.
go on
Let's move on to
yeah.
Nick.
If possible, it was even worse. Like, I've truly left the worst for last. Remember Heat of 1,000 Suns, right? This movie really made me angry. The main character started off by saying that she hasn't done much in her life. She stated, "I became a doctor. That's depressing."
I didn't even notice that.
How did I miss that?
We had to rewind for it.
Yes. I mean, saving lives isn't really yell depressing to me. Okay? Let's move on to the human Ken doll, the main love interest. He acts like a petulant child while at the same time looking exactly like a stripper.
Child stripper. Now that's a Christmas movie.
In the pediatric ward. It's perfect.
This is the worst Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, another thing, his face didn't move. Like, every time he went to smile, a vein would be popping out of his head, and his face would be screaming, "Don't move!"
Yeah.
Another thing that I did not like about this movie was the cattiness and bitchiness of all of the female characters.
Yeah.
First, it was between the chief doctor and her, then it was the fiancé and her. In this day and age, shouldn't we women be building each other up, not fighting over men? Should we really be perpetuating bitchiness among women?
I wrote down my note. All out bitches. That's all I wrote.
Perfectly sums it up. Now, also, I don't know if it was just me, but the side romance story in this one was actually better than the main love story. There's definitely more chemistry between them, and the characters could actually move their faces.
You told me about the PA quotation marks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the nurse? Is
The
he a
brother.
Yeah,
nurse?
he's a nurse.
Nurse.
Oh, he's a nurse. They called him a nurse plenty of times.
Yes.
He's a nurse.
Now, one last thing about this movie. At the end of the movie, the king said that the main character had, and I quote, "more breeding than royalty." Does that just mean no incest? I don't know. Just
I
saying.
think he said breathing.
No, he said breeding.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does breathing mean? I think breathing makes less sense.
People use the word breathing like in the sense that they have more... They think before they do type of thing. So they breathe before they say.
No, I'm pretty sure he was referring to high breeding as in like dogs.
Ah.
Like, you know.
See?
You're more of a chihuahua.
Classy. Now, in summary, Christmas with a Prince hired textbook pretty people who can't act together, had no chemistry, and felt like I was drinking expired milk. It left a sour taste in my mouth. Yes. So, in conclusion, which is better? Streaming movies like Christmas with a Prince, or DVD or physical media movies like A Princess for Christmas? Remember A Hatred of 1,000 Suns? I would have to argue that if this is how we measure which one to keep and which one to throw out, I'd throw them both out and burn them, like in a heartbeat. They both sucked. That's all.
See, this is the fight that I was looking for in recent Christmas movies.
Should have written notes.
So
Is Christmas saved? Thanks
yeah,
to Chanelle.
she just saved Christmas for me. So this is the scene in The Grinch where like his heart just starts growing again.
Chanelle is Cindy Lou Who to Kevin's Grinch.
So Kevin and Chanelle have both survived Christmas.
Yes!
Woohoo!
The spirit is back!
Over to Charnstar.
Look, I'm not going to try and argue in any way that Christmas with a Prince is a better movie. Because it is not. It is hilariously inept. The fact that... Has any of you been skiing before?
I have, yes.
So they had the GoPro footage of the ski lodge they definitely didn't shoot at. It's definitely stock footage. The fall he made. How many times did you fall over like that?
I fell over a lot of times.
Yeah.
But, yeah, probably not in that way.
Oh, I fell over like that a lot.
Uh-huh.
I went down some of the black diamonds. You're not meant to go down the black diamonds if you don't know how to ski. I'm an idiot is what I'm saying. Maybe that roped off area was roped off for a reason.
I'm too cautious. I was, like, on the beginner's zone doing the pizza shapes for,
Yeah.
like, 7 days straight and drinking hot chocolates afterwards.
See, I did it for 6 days, and then the 7th day, I was like, I gotta go wild. And
Gotta go find those roped off areas.
there was one moment when I fell down, like, there was, like, a really steep one. I fell face first. My ski got stuck halfway down the thing. I had to climb up the snow to pull my ski out. I didn't go to hospital. Nothing wrong with me. This guy is the most fragile person alive if that hospitalizes him for however long. We know it's definitely a week, but it seems longer than a week.
They say the terminology is weeks, so I'm assuming 2 or 3 weeks for a broken ankle.
So it probably started around Thanksgiving and then over to Christmas.
Yes.
Cool. So that's just one piece of the pie. It's just, the fact that the entire, like, I genuinely thought the film only had a hospital set until all of a sudden the third act is a different movie at a ball. Love it. Christmas with a, God damn it, no, a princess for Christmas, just as inept.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane editing. Like, scene transitions didn't make any sense. My favorite was, I think, one of the first scene transitions when she's talking to an old woman at the
Clock store?
Antique store.
antique
Yeah.
store. Yeah, so she's talking to an old woman at the antique store, and she goes, "Oh yes, my children are," and then it cuts to a woman saying, "Bloodsuckers!" And then she writes it down in a crossword. In what scenario would the term bloodsuckers appear in a crossword?
Yeah, no, I can't think of one.
Especially since when you look at the crossword, that's like only the third word she's written down.
Yeah.
So is it like what something vampires do, but also lawyers? I don't know. The scene transitions were just so abrupt. There was that one moment when they were fighting, and then all of a sudden they're in the kitchen. Oh yeah, it was the punching an orphan, and he goes, "Ah!" and then it just cuts to them in a kitchen. Yeah. Suddenly, accents are insane.
Yeah.
I had to Google it, and most of the actors are Romanian, but the lead actress, who I think we can all agree we didn't like very much, well, don't worry, because we've all definitely seen her die a horrible, most gruesome death in Jurassic World.
What? Really?
She's the assistant who's
the
looking
na-
after them, who gets picked up by a pterodactyl, which... When I watched Jurassic World, I was like, this is so unjustified, and this is genuinely like a mean
They
scene.
saw this movie.
They saw this movie. And now we've seen this movie. I can like Jurassic World just that little bit more.
I feel like
They
she
casted
lost...
her just to kill her.
Yes.
Excellent.
I feel like she lost her habit of... I feel like if she was smiling as much in Jurassic World as she was in this film, I would have noticed. Because it was like... She was talking about people dying, or people that had died, with a smile on her face.
My
like,
sister's dead.
yeah, and I was like, what are you doing? So nonsensical.
The fact that both kings were against Christmas. The fact that one film acted like Mr. Sheffield was like a cameo, like it was like, it's the king, and it was a big reveal, and I was like, who's that? And Chanelle had to point out, it's like, isn't that the guy from The Nanny? I was like, oh, right, it is. Whereas Roger Moore, that was just like, plump, yep, Roger Moore, don't even worry about him.
And what type of phone does he own? Like, he's just like, hello. Like, there's a tripod. Like,
Mr.
is his
Sheffield.
iPhone on a tripod every time he rings someone and he sits on the couch? Oh, it's you again.
It looks like Queen Elizabeth II's like
Christmas
Christmas
messages.
address. A Christmas address that is broadcast on television. That's what Mr. Sheffield looks like on the phone.
And maybe like every time he like puts it on a tripod, he presses call, and they just run over to the sit down, hope they can answer in time.
Oh!
I did notice at the end of the first call, he was like, okay, Roger, Like, he said
Oh,
that. I think he was indicating to someone to turn the phone
he's a
off.
king. He's got a million. Also, the fact that... Sorry, going back to the other film, the DVD film. The fact that all of the royalty appeared to be British of some description, but all of the servants were Romanian. Does that imply that this English-esque kingdom have taken the Romanians as some sort of slave trade? And we haven't realized
Alternate
till now?
universe.
Because the only person who was British was Paisley Winterbottom, the butler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and being the butler, I don't know, maybe he's higher class than the valet driver and the marquis. And, oh god, there's so much to talk... Oh yeah, the fact that she abandoned the kids, the princess... No, the auntie abandoned the kids at the castle to go to their ball for a misunderstanding. Which, personally, was my favorite misunderstanding, because I literally wrote the scene before it happened. I turned to Chanelle, I'm like, this is going to be amazing if... She goes up to them after she goes to the ball, and he's like, I'm glad you came. I thought you weren't going to. And she's going to be like, well, I hope I'm not embarrassing you. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, I heard what you and Dad said. You said I was going to be an embarrassment because I have bad blood. And he's like, oh, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about Bunny McCracken, the greatest name ever. And she was like, who? She's like, yeah, she's just over there.
She's
and it would just
munching
be
on food.
a random person shoveling food in their mouth.
She looked like Corella DeVille.
And then that, yeah, Chanelle said the same thing. And then that exact scene happened moments later. It was beautiful. Like, every time it happened, I was like, where's my bingo board?
Yeah.
I gotta tick this baby off. And then they capped it off. Actually, no, the better dance scene was earlier, wasn't it? The fact that
No.
both movies had greatest dance scenes ever. Starting with the DVD one, The Princess for Christmas.
Mr.
where
Sam Hewen himself.
They have their dance while the young daughter has ballet lessons and the young son has guitar lessons with the royal guitarist pop.
Look, I've had guitar lessons before.
Was it from that guy?
No, none of them look like that
You
guy.
know who I would expect to rock up at my guitar lesson? Our sound and science guy, Niall.
Yeah, they all look like him.
Yeah, every guitar teacher is Niall.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, Niall, I would justifiably believe, is a royal guitarist. This guy...
This guy.
It's like we gotta go to a dingy bar and just find the first guy who looks like he might hold a guitar.
He looks like he just got fired from a Panic at the Disco reunion show, like tribute band.
He actually kind of reminded me of like I remember years ago seeing Bon Jovi on Sunrise. I feel like this is like
It was
knockoff
Romania.
version.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi just got there 2011.
And while this happens, Sam Hewen and Jurassic World were dancing until, to be fair, I think she was correct, because I don't know if you guys noticed, Sam Hewen had a really stiff upper lip for the entire movie up until this point. This is an acting choice, people, where she says, you're too stiff, and I said, that's what she said. And then
Have
she
you seen
goes,
Outlander? Hey!
"Yo!" And then it became a very different movie. And she goes and turns on her music, which is on an iPod that happens to be sitting there, which is the most generic, crump, hip-hop song ever. And they just start busting the moves. He says, she's a bit too funky. He's never been this funky. And then the fiancé walks in. And he's like, oh no, my shirt is untucked. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love it.
And we got a little peek of his abs
Oh, we did.
when he was untucking his shirt because, he needed to loosen up.
It was not worth it.
Hard disagree.
I'm an Outlander fan, and no, Sam Hewen dancing in this film.
Look at him on that wall.
It's
Oh, yeah, yes, too.
he's on the wall.
He's not funky enough on that picture.
Yeah, he's a bit too stiff though.
Every time I watch him now, like with his gruff Scottish voice and his abs out, I'm just going to think back to the time where he funky danced to whatever that song was, and everything will be ruined.
Back on Netflix, of course. Possibly even a better dance scene. Where a little girl walks up to the stripper and asks him for a dance. Or did he ask her for a dance?
They just dance. Let's just dance. I think they're just like, it's time to dance.
So they start doing the most awkward dance ever, because she is crotch height to a stripper.
And he's wearing a moon boot, by the way.
Yeah. And then behind him, the better romantic couple, Nurse Santa and the PA, he asks her to dance. She says no. So he just kind of starts dancing behind the stripper in a real weird wide shot that isn't flattering for anyone.
And no one else was dancing.
Yeah.
Like the kids were just like opening the presents still, and then like the stripper and the kid was just like
Just two people.
looking at each other. Like, are we doing this right?
Has the director told you to do anything? I don't know.
They didn't even fight to dance. Ugh.
Look, my whole point is the fact that like last time I gave the excuse that it brought us all together as Christmas should. This time, look, both mediums, DVD and streaming, are valid because they've given opportunities to these quote-unquote filmmakers.
Yes.
And actors and so forth. Now, we've seen what a Christmas Princess for Christmas has given us.
Yes.
It gave us Sam Heughan. We wouldn't it is Sam Heughan's second listed
Yeah, on
film
IMDb.
on IMDb. It gave us Sam Heughan. It gave us the most embarrassing Roger Moore. It gave us that random dog from Pup Academy. It gave us the girl being destroyed in Jurassic World. We got these things from this movie. We wouldn't have these things if it weren't for this movie.
So true.
And although I don't know how well the stripper's career is going at the moment, I'm sure in 10 years we're going to look back and we're going to be like, man, if it weren't for that random stripper dance scene, we wouldn't have whatever it is.
Yeah, something.
It's giving opportunity. And as a filmmaker, that's important to me.
I see that.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Anyway, that is all for our special Christmas episode. We hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Go out, watch these films. Tell us if we're wrong. Tell us if we're right. Give us all of the feedback. We love to hear from you. 10 Films I Hate About You will be back in the new year, and so will One Season I Hate About You. People keep reaching out to us and asking us to keep... No, there's been more than one asking us to keep looking at Pup Academy, but I don't know if they just want more Pup Academy episodes or more podcast episodes about Pup
Maybe
Academy.
they're using us to watch Pup Academy. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, audio commentary.
I can't watch Fast and Furious without listening to the podcast Cast and Curious, so I get that.
True that. Well, anyway, we'll be back in the new year. We hope you enjoyed this special episode. We've got one more special episode coming up soon. In the meantime, head to our website, www.inconceivablерeviews.com, and check out our social media pages. You'll find heaps of written reviews and all of our old podcasting episodes there to enjoy.
Ho, ho, ho.
Bye.
Now I've got a machine gun.